I mean, I think the tendency in defining the Coptic Orthodox Church is to say exactly that, oh, have you heard of the Greek Orthodox Church? Oh, have you heard of the Russian Orthodox Church? Well, we're basically the Orthodox Church, the Christian Orthodox Church in Egypt.
Well, the first thing I always tell people is that I'm a Christian. When someone asks me, what is your religion? I always tell them I'm a Christian. First and foremost, I follow the teaching of Jesus Christ.
The word Copt comes from the Greek word Aegyptos, which is derived from one of the names for the first capital of ancient Egypt. The term Coptic can be used to describe Egyptian Christians themselves, or the ancient Egyptian language, which has many similarities to Greek and has been used in the Coptic Church since its inception. Speaking of the early church, St. Mark, one of the four gospel writers, brought Christianity to Egypt in the middle of the 1st century, just 12 years after Christ ascended to heaven. The term Orthodox means unchanged, and that's reflected in the Orthodox faith. Much like those in the Greek and Russian Orthodox churches, the beliefs, rites, and rituals of the Coptic Church remain as they were in the early times. 40 years ago, there were 0 Coptic churches in North America, but as Egyptian Christians left their home country for reasons like better job opportunities and religious freedom, Coptic churches started popping up all over the continent, especially in areas like Southern California, New York and New Jersey, and Ontario, Canada. The churches here range in size from 20 or 30 families, like the one in San Antonio, to 2,000 families, like the church in Mississauga, Ontario. In terms of the dogma, rites, and rituals, every Coptic church is the same, whether it's in Egypt, Ethiopia, Canada, or the United States, or even, let's say, the moon, which I'm sure Egyptians will be on once they figure out how to get a donkey to pull a spaceship. All Coptic churches in the United States use 3 languages: English, the language of the people; Coptic, the language of the church; and Arabic, the language of the people when they lived in Egypt. Each church in the United States balances these 3 languages differently. Some churches, which have a lot of recent immigration, tend to use Arabic more in their services, whereas churches that are known for their more progressive approach to youth activities, such as St. Mark's in Washington, D.C., may use more English. The church that I attend, St. George in San Jose, California, falls somewhere in between.
St. George Coptic Orthodox Church is the church in the San Jose area and serves the families of the South Bay, and was started back in 1995.
We started with a few families, maybe 30, 40 families in the beginning.
During the summer, you're looking at maybe 6 times a week, 5 times a week. There's something going on at church, and we're usually there all the time.
Thank you.
Very nice wedding.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So my name is Ishak, and my wife Raga Ishak, who goes by Hope Isaac these days. And we have 2 children, Eddie and Andrew. Edward is engaged to Irina, and Eddie is finishing his degree at Columbia University in New York. And Andrew is engaged to Heather. I came to San Francisco in 1978. The immediate family, all of them except one nephew, are all here in the Bay Area. My brother, who came here in 1989, he brought his family, his wife and 3 girls. My youngest sister, Samy, she came here in 1993. And then my other sister Tika, she came here a few years ago.
طبعا ما كنتش هقدر أقعد من غير كنيسة بصراحة. She said if it's definitely important to have church here, she wouldn't have been able to stay in the United States if there wasn't a church.
One thing I noticed that's hard for Egyptian to adapt to is the closeness. And I know that's the hard thing for the older generation. Tita would always say when she's here, I want to go to Egypt. And when she's in Egypt, she wants to come here. I think what she missed was the closeness, like you had in Shobra, uncles and aunts, they were all living in the same neighborhood. And
Coptic churches are known for their family-oriented village-type atmosphere, and family doesn't necessarily mean relatives.
Like my parents and their generation, they left their family and they came to America. So they didn't have like an extended family here. So all of them combined, they kind of formed their own extended families.
It's not a let's go to church on Sunday kind of religion, and it ends there. I think when you go to the Coptic church, you belong to a greater community, and everyone there is like your brother and sister, and everyone there is an uncle. Everyone there is an uncle. You meet like a parent of your friend for the first time, and you're like, hi, Uncle Bob or Uncle Fred or whatever it is. Everyone's an uncle, and everyone's an aunt.
Using uncle and tant in the church, first of all, it's very convenient. If you don't know the names of certain adults, you just say, hi, uncle, hi, tant.
I think there's an extremely high level of comfort with people letting their children go spend time with other families in the Coptic church, because if you're Coptic, you must have grown up on the same street in Egypt somewhere in history, right? I mean, there's only one street in Egypt, and that's where all the Coptic people grew up. And so, essentially, if you're Coptic, you grew up on that street, you're family.
Daniel, are you going to say something to me?
Besides the village-type atmosphere, there are other things that define what it's like to be Coptic. For example, we don't eat animal products for certain parts of the year, including 43 days before Christmas and 55 days before Easter. In addition, we have very close relationships with the clergy members of our church.
You missed the most important thing.
Faith.
Faith, love, baptism, still the most important things missing. It starts with a T. No. We're not going to go through the dictionary. Time.
That's not the most important thing.
It is the most important. Time is more important than you realize. Because to be with God, and the importance of our faith, is that we spend time with Him. You see, our faith, in our minds, breaks down to, I've got to be a good person so I can go to heaven, so I don't get in trouble, so, I don't burn in hell. And that's my faith. What's your faith? I've got to go to church. What's your faith? Read my Bible. What's your faith? I've got to have communion. Why? Why? It is to spend time with God here and to partake of His sacraments, that we may share with Him and to be with Him one day in the kingdom. Do not ever, ever underestimate your faith. Don't ever underestimate the importance of your faith.
There are Coptic retreats and conventions in every region of the country, and they differ by age group. For example, it's often joked that the Young Professionals conventions are BYOD, D standing for Dibla, and Dibla being the Arabic word for engagement ring.